All right, and we're back here on Couch Coach Live once again here on a Wednesday night under the lights here on Couch Coach Live. We're back at it. What's going on, Maui?
What's up, man? Going on? Miss you,
Yeah,
B.
man. Yeah, man.
Like,
It's been a minute. Yeah,
damn, so much stuff happened. I'm like, oh, damn.
yeah.
Like,
We took a bye week last week. Now we back. I
yeah,
know you week before, so yeah, it's been a
yeah.
while here on Couch Coach Live, but we back here as we as sports world turn to the clock turns to October. So we here. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. We'll talk about Karl Anthony Towns being traded to the Knicks. We'll talk about a player that more than likely might be traded really soon in Davante Adams. So we're gonna see
hmm
where we think he's gonna go. We'll talk about some takeaways from the weekend's action in the world of sports of the previous weekend. Then we'll talk about games that we're looking forward to watch this weekend. Do our picks and GameBall. So that's what we're gonna pretty much gonna be the show. But before we get into those, we definitely very it's one September 30th in a strange way. Especially in this year, you think of like so many things have happened. Just combined things have happened even in this year. But Monday was really a very interesting, kind of a strange, kind of sad day. Obviously, how the news cycle kind of began with was the passing of Dikembe Mutombo, and then also later on Monday evening we found out the passing of Pete Rose. So we'll start first with Pete Rose. Passed away on Monday. We talked about on September 30th at the age of 83. He was a 17-time All-Star. Also nicknamed Charlie Hustle, three-time
hmm
World Series champion. He was the manager of the Reds for 5 seasons, 1973 NL MVP, World Series MVP in 1975. Obviously, we know about the situation with the gambling and
hmm
as far as him essentially being banned from the sport. Besides all that, just what are your thoughts on the passing of Pete Rose?
Um, I ain't know much about Pete Rose. The main thing I remember is the gambling thing and how he didn't get in. But once I looked up some stuff, he was a bad boy. Like and it makes me look at the Hall of Fame in different ways. Whereas you really should be, I think I see, and I think he is. This is what I think about Pete Rose. I think he is um, a story that should be in the Hall of Fame, but his speech would have done well because he would have spoke about how the decisions he made and how he had to overcome and he got punished. I think that would have been a great speech, and I think we missed on that. But he was a bad boy, man. Like rookie of the year, NIL rookie of the year. When it came on the field, I mean, on the we're playing baseball. He was that dude, and the only thing I could think of is he didn't make it to the Hall of Fame for gambling. And it's so strange that how things are now going with gambling, but it just spoke of his competitiveness, and a lot of people have that drive when they do things. Either whatever job that they have, they could just be a competitor, and that's why they do so well. But that's the main thing I can think about it. I mean, I really wish they would have because I think him being in trouble with what he did, I think that was very embarrassing to his family. And for him to make it to the Hall of Fame, like I heard him speak to somebody, and the guy was asking him on his show, and the guy was asking these questions, and he was like, "Man, when it comes to the Hall of Fame, it's important for the sport to put these players in the Hall of Fame because we walk around with that coat, and we could speak to kids, we could speak to people. You know what I mean?" And he was like, "Man, I understand the mistake I made, but I'm really, really sorry." And I really thought that they were going to put him in there eventually. But when I think of Pete Rose, I think of him not being in the Hall of Fame. That's what I think of. But I really want to send love and strength to his family and things of that nature.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that as well. I think as far as and it's kind of one of the things where with the Pete Rose situation, we knew like that he was never going to be in the Hall of Fame if he went while he was alive.
Right.
that was just one thing where we always was hoping that there was a situation where they would, would have him in the Hall of Fame. So, like you said, he can have that moment, and people
Right.
can essentially give him his flowers. It would be a weekend that would be filled
Right.
with people showing him love and what have you.
Right.
And yeah, and I, obviously his baseball career, obviously that was before I was born, but obviously,
Right.
following sports and kind of somewhat being a quasi sports historian in the sense,
Right.
obviously I know the impact that he had on the Cincinnati Red, the Big Red Machine, and how
Mm-hmm.
great they were in the '70s and what have you. So yeah, and it's just very unfortunate. Like he didn't get that opportunity that we all wanted him to get. I know there was some inklings. I think even maybe a few years ago, it was like kind of a feeling like maybe this could get
Right.
lifted and maybe he can get there. But obviously, it didn't come into fruition. And I know he said essentially like the Hall of Fame in the sense it's really for his family and what have you.
Right.
And I still do hope that his family can get that honor of him being memorialized in Cooperstown. That's my hope, especially now that he has passed on. So that's
I
my hope.
believe I believe that they are because this, no offense, this is Pete Rose, and I think he's one of those. He's a big figure when it comes to baseball. You know what I mean? And really, I want to say ESPN and all of that. You know what I mean? Like I remember, like he was a big figure to speak on it, and it's important for him to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It really, really is. Like it's a slap in the face, and people got to these
Yeah.
leagues got to understand that. Like
Yeah.
this person contribute a lot to the excitement and the views and all those things with it pertaining to the sport. So he kind of like, I know what he did wrong, and nobody's perfect. Trust me, every athlete, celebrity, person that does it, they're not perfect. You know what I mean? Because I'm
Yeah.
sure he wasn't the only one, but
Yeah.
he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, man.
Yeah. And then we'll talk about Dikembe Mutombo,
Right, right.
passed away on Monday at the age of 58. 8-time NBA All-Star, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time blocks leader, and even of his NBA accolades, his accolades of being a humanitarian
Yeah,
is
outweighs him.
way more
Mhm.
extensive. And it's just to name a few. Now it's just it's
Right.
obviously having the Dikembe Mutombo Foundation to help in his native land of Congo. The hospital that he created in 1997.
Hmm.
His contribution to Basketball with Borders.
Hmm.
The CARE Association, well, it's CARE, it's the association called CARE. So
Hmm.
then also it was and with and I didn't even know this today. I didn't know that he was even instrumental in like the Special Olympics. That's
Yeah,
something I learned today. So
me too.
yeah. So what was just your thoughts on Dikembe Mutombo?
Everything you just said was definitely what I wrote down. But he also bought the women of Zaire. He bought their uniforms, and he paid their expenses during the '96 Olympics in Atlanta. Um, like Special Olympics, he was on the board. Like it outdid his NBA career. And truth be told, he is one of those NBA players that just stood out with the smile, the one finger. You know what I mean? Like that's just as much to me, just as much as important as Michael Jordan dunking with his tongue out. You know what I mean? When you see the one finger shake back and forth, we know that's Mutombo. You know what I mean? For playing wise, that 01, I think it was in DC, what the All-Star game,
Yeah.
um, where he was just blocking everybody's shot. Nobody wanted to come in there, and the legendary Kobe Bryant said, "Oh, ain't nobody trying to climb that mountain, huh?" And then eventually he ended up going to the 76ers and playing with Allen Iverson and Larry Brown. Um, Great figure. You know what else I learned was that he was such a big figure coming from Georgetown, and all those centers and those players that came from Georgetown had a menace about them. And then you have this guy like Mutombo that was a great defender to come in and had this warmth about himself, like just had this thing where he was always smiling. There's really not too You can't really say anything negative about it. You know what I mean? Just want to say RIP to his family, sending love also, man. Like he was definitely when thinking international basketball and being able to bring some of those players in, he's definitely the face of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, we talked about, and it's funny when I first started, like as far as watching basketball, like from a serious standpoint, like I watched basketball when I was
Right.
young, but as far as like watching the games and like actually like having analytic type of analysis in a sense, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the first moments I remember is the the Denver Nuggets upset the Seattle Supersonics in 1994.
Right.
And that indelible mark of him doing this on the floor after they beat at that time the 1 seed. I think at that time they were the first number 8 seed to be the number 1. I just look at like his career, obviously this NBA career, then also just his the humanitarian efforts that he has had, and that's something that even he was doing while he was playing as well. So, he was always featured. I know he won NBA awards for his community activism, and then I think, like you said, and even like you said, the hand wag, which arguably is probably one of the most funniest commercials ever. Like as far as him being him being at a supermarket, blocking somebody, blocking items in the supermarket, and just stuff like that. So it's just, and then also if there are some wild stories about the Dikembe Mutombo we're a family show.
Right.
With kind of
I ain't heard
summarize it, but oh yeah. Talk to Jalen Rose, because Jalen Rose talked about a story when he was a rookie, him having to make a run because Dikembe was having some company, so he had to he sent him out on a rookie run, but and it's just been some good stories, and this another one, just like we talked about Pete Rose and Dikembe Mutombo, both of them figures in their sport, who are just multifaceted to a point where it's not just the actual game or the stats that we talk about, as for more the personality and impact they've had on on people's lives, their families, their fans, and then that's concerned. But yeah, man, and it's weird because with Dikembe Mutombo, I was, how like sometimes you think about somebody and then like something end up happening, because obviously with Dikembe passed away from brain cancer, he had a brain surgery maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, and I know like it's really been quiet in these last few years, so you really haven't really heard much past that. I think because it happened in 2021 when he had the brain surgery, if my memory serves correct. And then I was like, I wonder how he was doing, and then and that may have been about a month or so ago. And then now, fast forward, him passing on Monday. So definitely thoughts to to Pete Rose's family, and also to the Dikembe Mutombo family, and anybody, pretty much everybody who's been affected by it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna we're gonna kick that intro, and we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. We're back here, and huge shout out to Big Kirko. Got a good win over the rival that the New Orleans Saints on Sunday, and I think he finally is entrenched in that Atlanta culture by beating the Saints. So definitely huge shout out to Kirk Cousins.
Right.
And So before we keep going, yeah, so definitely can't give you huge shout out to that guy Kenji. Said, John Thomas, I guess Thompson. I guess that's what he meant, like John Thompson mentality. So definitely
Right,
huge
right.
shout out to him. Yeah, we talked. Yeah, so yep, Swag Surfing Kurt, yep. But yeah, so you know, mhm,
Before you move, before you move,
yeah.
before you move, before we really get going, and I see Kenji on there. Both of y'all, how are y'all feeling about y'all quarterback? Come on now.
We're gonna talk about that and one of the takeaways. So I'm not gonna
All right.
tease it quite yet.
Okay.
We're
All
gonna
right. All
get
right.
to it though. We're gonna get to it. Yeah,
Word.
we're gonna
Word.
get to it. Yeah, we're definitely gonna get to that for sure. We'll definitely discuss that.
Okay.
We'll have another.
Okay.
Don't be surprised if we have another if we have another intro with Jay Daniels, maybe the go home chat versus Cincinnati. We're working on that, but we're gonna talk about that momentarily. So and
Okay.
what's and it felt really weird Friday, obviously with the news of Karl Anthony Towns being traded to the Knicks. Obviously, we know that Woj has now retired and came to my neck of the woods in Atlantic 10 as St. Bonaventure. So
Mm-hmm.
it felt weird that we didn't have a Woj bomb on Friday night. We had a what's the jig type of we had a Shams bomb, but we didn't have a Woj bomb. So
Mm.
let's talk about Karl Anthony Towns. So Karl Anthony Towns was traded to the New York Knicks to the in exchange for Dante DiFincenzo and Julius Randle, and they head to Minnesota. What was your thoughts on the Karl Anthony Towns trade to send him to the Knicks?
Okay. Okay. I didn't write anything down because I so want to freestyle this.
Good.
First off, Karl Anthony Towns a Scorpio, so I rock with him for that. But I remember this is the thing. I remember the play. I remember last year. The issues like they had chemistry, but then they didn't. Rudy Gobert didn't. In the playoffs didn't come back. Not even that. I just feel like he was starting to fade last year, whereas everybody is talking about Ant-Man. Don't they have a new GM there in Minnesota also?
Um,
Or a president or something like that came from Denver?
yeah, I mean he's been there for a few years now. Yeah,
So he's been there for a few years, but I still feel like something. They talk more about Ant-Man than they talk about Karl Anthony Town when it comes to the Timberwolves, and I hate to be that guy to bring that up, but I feel like for Karl Anthony Towns to be there so long, he should have done so much better. I remember the All-Star game. He was trying to ball. You could tell he was trying to figure out a way to become the All-Star. But just in that playoffs, he was on and off. On and off. But when he was on, he was on. I'm trying to figure out. You just gave up Randall. You already lost the center to OKC. So you just gave up to me your physicality. Karl Anthony Towns is not physical. You talk about, I heard somebody say they looking for rebound. That's not him. You know what I mean? Like, then you gave up, what's the Dante DiVincenzo? That's his name out?
DiVincenzo. Yeah, DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo. Didn't he win a ring with Golden State?
Yeah. Oh, was it with Milwaukee? Hold on. Yeah, it was Golden State.
Why would you let that go? Because he's going to be able to help them have that championship mentality. I ain't saying he was a big dude with that, but he still can bring that leadership to the Knicks. But they said he didn't even want to be there anymore. From what I heard, they say he was looking to leave also. So I just don't. I mean, I'm happy because Karl probably wants to get out of that situation because clearly they all about Ant-Man. You know what I mean? Ant-Man couldn't do no wrong. And it was, I'm telling you, man, like in the Denver series, they were dogging Karl Anthony Towns, man. They was calling him and Rudy so soft. You know what I mean? So I just don't know if this is good for the Knicks. Like it might be, and I'm trying to figure out, you got Tom Thibodeau who takes his players and drives them he plays them so hard. And I'm like, you sure Karl, he gets hurt a lot. You sure Karl's the right guy for that?
I mean, he had him in Minnesota though.
Word, but still, he ain't the same. I don't know. And I had a feeling that some that may say that, and I know they played together the same, but I don't know. I think the Knicks. I think the Knicks was doing okay, and I think they might have just kind of like. Think they. I don't think they moved ahead. I think they kind of still in the same predicament in some type of way. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm 50. I'm really 60-40 on it. I'm gonna say a bad trade myself. I'm 60-40 though. You know what I mean? Like, because I can see some, but I think the Knicks have lost their physicality. Because Karl is a on and off type of player.
Yeah, and I actually like this deal for both teams. Obviously, I think I talk about the Minnesota part first. I think you do add like a Julius Randle if he becomes healthy. I definitely think he's going to be someone that definitely help in
Mm-hmm.
that because he's different than Cat. Where I definitely think I think he'll mesh well with a Rudy Gobert, and you also add Nas Reed to that mix as well, kind of
Right.
to balance out. So if you had that type of situation, then you get a guy like a DiVincenzo, which is going to give you a scoring
Right.
punch. I mean, he averaged 15 with the Knicks last year. So you look at it,
Right.
you bring some depth to that position where it's one of the things where you kind of keep a strain on Ant. So I know you lose that kind of that scoring punch like you do with Karl Towns, but you still kind of get that with Julius Randle too because prior to him being
Right.
injured, he averaged 24 points per game. So he actually, in a weird
Right.
way, he has better, not in a weird way, but factually, he has better numbers than Karl Towns. So
That's
it's
my 60.
if he gets if in this only contention if he stays healthy. That's the
Right.
biggest question mark for Minnesota when it comes. And I think they could get better in this way. I look at the Knicks. It's going to be interesting, and it's really going to be contingent on Cat because I think I understand kind of why they wanted to get Cat because now you think to yourself because in their mind they think, okay, we got to go against guys like Joel Embiid. Joel
Right.
Embiid is going to be healthy. We assume that he'll be healthy because you think to yourself you didn't really have to deal with Embiid because he was, obviously he was injured last year. And then you
Mm-hmm.
look at the Celtics team that didn't have Porzingis essentially, as far as during the bulk of their playoff run. Obviously, he came back in the NBA Finals and was different, and was the difference. And I think if the Knicks think to themselves, hey, why not get a guy like him, considering the fact that you had a Julius Randle who didn't even play in the second half of the season, essentially. So you think to yourself, if that's just and like to me, I think to themselves like, oh, we literally could have been essentially in the Eastern Conference Finals, potentially if we remain healthy. And then also I do like the moves of getting like Mikal Bridges in the offseason. So I
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
think that kind
I'm
of
with that.
helps too, where you don't necessarily lose that DiVincenzo type. I know because I know a lot of people like that's the sticking point, but now you kind of got like a guy like in Bridges that kind of can help that scoring load, and obviously what you got then obviously with Brunson and Brunson was a little gimpy in that stretch against the Pacers. So you look to yourself, hey, this is like Eastern Conference or bust for this team. And I know we talked about like our power rankings as far as after free agency, obviously with Sixers getting Paul George. We looked at that. We looked at kind of what the Celtics kind of have as well. So they looked like we were thinking Boston and Philly was on a collision course for the Eastern Conference Finals, but now you got to take the Knicks in that strength because you think it's pretty much going to be those top three teams that potentially going to be vying for that for those two spots in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's how it looks at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. Like I was thinking, I said they got Karl Towns. I was like, so you remember the Phoenix Suns with Bridges and Cam Jones? I felt like they was
Oh yeah.
it's Cam Jones,
Uh,
right?
no, it's what's Cam? This Cam Johnson? Because he went to Carolina. I forgot what was Cam last name.
Light skinned
Who you
dude,
talking
tall,
about?
right?
Yeah, Cam, because
But
he went to Carolina. Yeah.
so I'm just saying, like
Um,
I could see Karl and him doing that. Like that's a better because they were dangerous. You know what I mean? They was dangerous behind the three. They played defense and then they was sneaky and you know what I'm saying, they corners and then with Brunson driving in. I just feel like that's what I see. I just think he gonna be a 3-point threat. I don't see Karl playing a lot of. I mean, unless when he get there, there's a part of him he hasn't really shown. Because I was watching some dudes from New York, and they were saying how New Yorkers, when they watch basketball, they look at things that most basketball players don't look at. So maybe by him getting there and being with him, maybe it's some things that he's going to be able to do that he hasn't been to do for a while. You know what I mean?
And I think it might be good for him for the spacing aspect too. I think that's another thing I really kind of, because I think with him and Rudy, it's like a miss. It's like it don't work for them too because Cat needs some room.
Cat needs some room.
Some room. So this might, I can see it on both ends.
Like, that's why I said 60-40.
I get the Knicks. I get why the Knicks did that, and Minnesota because you can't get rid of Rudy Gobert because who gonna want Rudy Gobert? And what? No. I'm saying from a financial standpoint, who's gonna want to take on in that? Because especially in this day and age, because think about it, look what they got in return for Cat. Lord knows what you would have got for Rudy Gobert. You'd have been lucky to get anything from him at this point. Yeah, because. Yeah.
Then when I remember in the playoffs too, like it was hard for them to keep those three players on. Like Niles Reed, like like some of us were saying, man, get Cat out the game, put Niles Reed in. Like we were saying that, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A lot of those shots that Reed was hitting, Karl Anthony Towns wasn't. You know what I mean? And he just where he's supposed to be at, he was game to game to game, and he wasn't as consistent as you think he should be. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I will say this. I will always go back to that game when Rudy didn't play because his baby was being born. Yeah. And to see that Timberwolves team dominate the Nuggets that way was crazy. You know what I mean? It was really crazy to me. And it was like you said, spacing. And I think this year, I'm not shocked at this. I think it's great for Karl Anthony Towns that he's actually out of Minnesota, and I think sometimes when you get those teams that's pushing forward and about to move on, it's just time for you to say, man, what am I in this picture? I need to get out of this and get in a better situation for myself and my career. And no offense, I think it was just time. That's one thing. Like I said, it's 60-40. I think it's just time. I just was looking at the Knicks and how they play. Like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, and then Tom Thibodeau and how he coached, and I'm like, because think about it, was a lot of injuries, and that's what he's known for. A lot of his players always get injured, so but we'll see. Exciting.
Yeah. I mean, he big time. I mean, him and Joel Embiid the only one they scored like 70 points and one, before that one. Yeah, so I'm like, hey, it's gonna be fun seeing them play against each other. That's gonna be some must see TV, and hopefully that may be our Eastern Conference Finals. Potentially, we shall see, but we're gonna find out.
Right.
But so we gotta talk about a guy that more than likely probably has played his last game with the Las Vegas Raiders, and we gotta talk about Davante Adams, the wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders. So obviously, there's no secret. It's not a big secret. Obviously, we know that the trade deadline is on November the 5th. A guy that probably more likely will be moved is if you want to put a percentage on it, it's probably about a 98.9% chance that he's going to get traded. So which team should trade for Davante Adams? What you got?
Man, it's so many different things. I saw something say the Jets and the Cowboys, and I was like, why would the Cowboys want to? Like, to me, they need to bunk up on their defense. But I heard something about the Saints because he did somewhere with
Derek Carr.
With Derek Carr, and then I think the wide receiver coach, they go back. You know what I mean? Used to be or something like that. Like they got a personal thing from. Like it's basically that was the guy that recruited him when he got out of high school. So I heard that. Yeah, Fresno. Yeah, so I heard that, and but I'm gonna say the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs I don't know. I just feel like he go there for like a year or something like that. And I think that they look like they need some mojo. There's so many injuries on the with the receivers that I feel like I think because they're trying to fill shoes and they might be doing too much in the game or something like that. And I just don't see the Chiefs dominating like they should. And I think a player like that, especially go there for like a year, I think that would be great. I think that would be great. And I even think they kind of need him a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I kind of got it in tears. I always think, and it's weird because I think the number 1 and 2 teams that really need Davante Adams are within their division, which is highly unlikely that, because if the Raiders trade Davante Adams to their rival, they really can handle them and hand the Chiefs their 3rd straight Super Bowl. In my personal opinion, because I think that's the biggest issue now, considering the fact with the whole situation with receiver Rice being out,
right?
They're in essentially wide receiver purgatory. I mean, who you gonna call? Kadarius Toney? Like, right. I mean, what else you got left? So that's the need. I think that's the part. Yeah, I doubt if that's going to happen, but I think if the Chiefs need a wide receiver more than likely. So so I have some that's need, but I don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, I think the Chargers definitely need another wide receiver. I even think the Steelers. I think definitely consider the fact striking out on the Brandon Ayuk trade. I definitely think that'll be good for the team. But I don't even know if they're going to trade within the conference. If it was me, if I'm the GM of the Raiders, I want him far away as possible. I don't even want to see him play. I don't want to see him at any point, as far as if I'm as far as from that standpoint. Definitely don't want to see him twice if I trade him to the Chiefs or the Chargers. Obviously, like the Jets, talk about the Jets as far as the reuniting with Aaron Rodgers. But I think probably what's going to ultimately happen, and I think it might come down to 2 teams. And I think the most realistic, and I think it's somebody probably more so from the NFC perspective. I wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders end up getting Davante Adams, surprisingly. Or the Saints. I think him being reunited, and I think I'm not necessarily think that, because these next weeks are going to be critical for both. I think for the Saints and the Commanders in a sense, because because November 5th will be at the week 9. So we about 4 weeks away, because it's week 5. So I think in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're really going to see what these 2 teams are. And you look at, obviously with the Saints being 2-2, right at 500, and they got a big game on Monday night against the Kansas City Chiefs. Where they be heading the next 2 to 3 weeks, and will they be able to pull this trigger for this deal, and then think to themselves, hey, we got a legitimate shot to win. And then I think even with the Commanders, I think if you look at their schedule, in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and if they're still kind of rolling in the sense, hey, maybe we take a chance on Davante Adams. If they're at a point where they think that they have playoff aspirations, even though I know we 3 weeks, but like if the Commanders, we just out of just for S and giggles, if they're like 6-1, and it's like, all right, let's pull the trigger on a deal like this and just amplify it. So, but if that's from the NFC, but I think if they were to do one, it probably either would be the Steelers or the Raiders. I'm not Raiders, the Ravens. Pardon me, the Ravens. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's either those 2 teams or the Saints or the Commanders. I think it's down to 4.
So I got one more team that really, really, really need him. Really, really, really need him. And when they played against the Ravens, it showed that they really, really, really need him. And that's the Bills. I think out of every team we talk about, and I think it's really Josh Allen's fault, because he was throwing shots. Like, you need a receiver that has a name that they gonna have to double. It doesn't make a difference. You need that. You know what I mean? The only, big star. I'm sure they have other ones, but on that offense, man, like, they not afraid of nobody except for Josh Allen, and he's eventually gonna have to throw the ball. So, but I think Davante is like, man. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think it's a beef there. I think that everybody left. that was on that team before. And because he decided to go there, and everybody was shocked that he went there, right? So he went there with Derek Carr. So like Carr's gone, all those players that he was tied into are gone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, they completely are trying to go a different direction. You know what I mean? So, and I'm sure me personally, I feel like they like, man, where do you want to go? We're going to make sure we send you a place that's going to, blah, 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 blah. And, and it's business. Chiefs definitely needing, the Bills definitely needing. I don't know if he's going, even though that's his homie, I don't think he's going to the Saints. I don't think he might want to go to the Saints. But I don't think he wants to go play for the Bills either because, the weather. You know what I mean?
They play in Green Bay. I mean, it's
word. And he said, hell, I'm going to Vegas, bro. It is cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then he's one. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's where I was like, and it just really just going to depend. Like I said, it's going to be contingent on, I think, the success of some of these teams in about 3 weeks. So I'm just thinking it's going to be he's going to get traded right on the date of the trade deadline.
You think so?
Like on the 5th. I think it's going to be beforehand. I think I wouldn't be surprised if at the week 8, which that was like October 28th, at that Monday Night Football game, where I think teams are gonna start clamoring, and I think somebody's gonna try to make a move that day, or maybe if it don't happen that 29th, that Tuesday, then obviously it'll probably go on the November the 5th. Because I think teams got kind of gauge where they're at. I think you kind of know where your team is going to be within, I think, the next 4 weeks. I would hope most teams will in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
So, question: wouldn't he put out there that he wanted to be traded, or they put out there he wanted to be traded?
Well, because I think it all kind of stemmed from Deshaun Jackson. I think he kind of started saying some stuff like, he didn't want to be there, and there was a Sports Illustrated, I don't know if it was a post or an article that said that Davante Adams would be more than likely has played his last game with the Raiders. It's pretty much the same way he's going to get traded. And they're saying that Antonio Pierce liked the post. Obviously, Antonio Pierce is the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Right.
So what was somewhat of a little a loose cigarette flicking in the air, it's now became somewhat of a brush fire.
He going to the Jets.
I mean,
he going to the Jets. You see that last play against the Broncos where Aaron Rodgers threw it and the dude dropped the ball and they could have kicked the field goal. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, and then that's the whole thing that came out when I saw that. I said, "Oh yeah." And then I saw something. I said, he's going to the Jets. Yeah,
because the wide receivers down on the same page, so obviously it'd be a situation where, and I don't really even when I want to just curious how they're thinking of as far as would you want to trade him within the conference, and I think that's where I think my biggest thing, because we know where the best fit for him would be, but that's not going to happen. Him going to Kansas City, that's not going to happen because the Raiders would be foolish to give your divisional rival, your hated rival, essentially a Super Bowl ring. You might as well get a ring. Whoever traded him to go to Kansas City should get a ring if they do that, but that's not gonna happen.
You've seen crazier things.
They would be idiotic to do that.
Raiders.
But still, that's like us if we would have traded Terry McLaurin to the Dallas Cowboys. That's ridiculous. That would be the stupidest thing ever on earth. Like, no, you cannot. If that happens, I'm like, yeah, give up. I give up. Because ain't no way you would trade that man within your division.
Man, Aaron Rodgers is there. He's going to the Jets.
Twice a year, yeah.
I believe he's going to the Jets.
Yeah. I'm in a weird way. I'm leaning towards maybe Washington in a weird way because the way they're saying is only like you're only going to give up a second round pick. So I'm like, I mean, that's not bad,
right?
And I think it just continues if Washington keeps on rolling. I think that's why I look at it as far as if they reel off 3 or 4 straight right at the deadline and they thinking, hey, we might need it. But who's to say? And they still getting production from from their wide receiver core. So we shall see. And it'll definitely it's gonna happen. He'll get traded, but just more as far as where he's gonna go. But yeah. All right. So we gotta talk about our two takeaways from this weekend in the world of sports. So, what was your two takeaways from the weekend? That was
The first one, of course, a couple weeks ago, I was done with this team, but to watch the reality show on YouTube where you get the details and just see this team dominate UCF, Colorado Buffaloes, man, like it was just great to watch, to learn new names besides the Sander brothers and Deion Sanders and Travis Hunter. J5 played, Shepard, like all these different names, defense, special team, like the whole team, coaches, like it just had to be salute. It was a great game to watch. And if you follow them, just to see the running game, the offensive line work, all these little, you could tell, you know what? Let me tell you that if you follow them, this was probably the most humble game I've ever seen them, because they can get a little cocky and arrogant. But this one right here, for some reason, they was so like just intensely humble and quiet. Like even with the rain delay, we watched his, and I was like, wow, man, they just sitting there looking at each other and just chilling. Like it was different. My second game was Virginia Tech versus the Miami Hurricanes, all the way to the end. Just quick details. Definitely Miami's quarterback in the first quarter, you could tell he was confident and very he had control of the game. And Virginia Tech's quarterback to me seemed like the butterflies. Like he just seemed a little unsettled. And then they start handing the ball off in the second half. And number 33 just took it over. So back and forth, I really think I don't know why Virginia Tech did that field goal fake. I don't understand that. Get your points. You was already up like 10 points. Get your points. And I think that was the change. Great game, man. All the way to the end. And then the overturn at the end, the controversial catch. Yeah, you know what I mean? But great game, man.
Yeah, I don't think he caught it. I know a lot of people.
I don't think he caught it either.
I know a lot of people on Facebook was like, he caught it, and I'm like, he didn't have possession of it. I mean, he didn't have possession when he came down. And I think why Colorado was like that, because they were an underdog. They were a 13-point underdog. So and then like you said, and then them having to kind of fly early, their plans kind of got kind of jacked up, and then so I mean, I think it's just one of those, and that's why I'm kind of glad, like with Colorado, where it's like, it's just, and this is where, like, when Shador and them was saying, like, when teams play them, it's like their Super Bowl, and I think people get confused saying, like, when we think about Super Bowl, people think of Super Bowl like, oh, it's the two best teams. No, it's the Super Bowl because of the attraction that they have, and then you just even look at all the other stuff that comes with it. Obviously, the beef, the beef with Cam Newton and Shador. Well, it's quasi beef, and then Richard Sherman and ain't no beef. It's just them just talking,
right?
And then Richard Sherman versus Travis Hunter and all that. I mean, just in it, but that's when we talk about as far as when it comes to the Super Bowl mentality, where everybody's watching, everybody's dissecting it, micro analyzing every situation.
Right.
Because that was most people led with that beef in the sense all week. And it's just one of the things where I think people kind of don't understand what Shador meant in that.
For the offensive line, what they did, the running game, and it wasn't like a flashy running game. It was a ground and pound running game. It was crazy. Yeah. And then they spread the ball. I've been saying it for the longest. I'm like, yo, you can't force feed Travis Hunter. He's going to get his. You got to spread the ball around. And that's what he did. It just seemed like everybody, to me, the first time they all watched film together, you could just see the maturity in all of them. You know what I mean? Even so, when you go watch, you follow them and you watch on YouTube, you can hear the coaches are finally saying the right words and it's reaching them. Like, yo,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like last year you could tell you could tell they was like it was a little bit too fast. They got a little bit too fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think, and I know, and that's why, like, I was never really like. I know people talking about all the run game was terrible in the beginning, but I think people got
Right.
to understand this offensive line is a patchwork where you got different
Right.
parts from different places, and everything
Right.
has to gel. And I think people
Right.
realize, and it's not like the NFL where even the NFL when you have those two preseason games, you're still seeing teams struggle. You're seeing it now, like on other
Right.
teams. The same thing goes for Colorado. I think they are starting to kind of find their groove, and it's one of those things where what's going to be key, and that's like I'm not really going to say nothing about Colorado until they play Kansas State, because I think that's
Right.
going to be their biggest matchup to
Yeah.
date at this point. And
Right.
and everything's a process, so it's kind of one of the things where everything is starting to come together and everything come into place. I think
Mhm.
people, and I just hate this, what I call like this microwave generation, where I don't know how people think that Dion was going to get this offensive line all together week one, and it's going to
Right.
have this, it's a process, and
Right.
even whatever happens between now and November 30th, it's still a success. They've won 4 games already, and it's October,
Right.
so it's like
Yeah. By Dion being there and what he's bringing to the table, like they're young, so they have to understand you have to play at a high level because you're with Dion. If you're not, if you can't handle it, then you definitely need to be like Carmine, and you need to leave.
Guess what? That
He want
fool
to
was
come
at the
back.
game. He was
Yeah,
at
he
the
want to come
game.
back.
He
Yeah,
was at the game.
because that's the other side of it. That's the other side is that you guys are leaving, but y'all don't realize a lot of these colleges are just trying to get you to leave so you won't be there. You know what I mean? Like, was it Dylan Edwards?
Hey, yep, and they play at Kansas State. Yep, he at Kansas State now.
He third string. He ain't even playing. He upset at the
Yeah,
coach. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
he at Kansas State.
And that.
Yep.
So that's the whole thing. If you gonna go with Dion and then you don't trust the process and then you try to leave, you have to understand what comes with it. Like if he's being brutally honest with you, that's
Yeah.
great, and then you take that. But if you think, okay, you hurt my feelings or this ain't working out for me, and then you leave, and then they start making promises, it may not be what you think it is because they might just be trying to get
Yeah.
at Dion. You know what I mean? But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Both games. But the main thing was when you really watch the game, the pass rush, the defense, the interceptions, like it really was an all around knockout. It really was in every which way. Like it was crazy. You know what I mean? It really was.
So my 2 takeaways. I'll start first in the college game.
Okay.
I think Alabama and Georgia, we need an
Okay.
encore. We need this to happen either in the SEC championship game, or we need this in the college football playoff. I think it lived up to the hype. Obviously, this is kind of one of those games you could have fell asleep on it early. Obviously, Alabama, that big lead. Georgia takes the lead with 2 minutes and 31 seconds and only had the lead for 14 seconds. And then obviously Jalen Milrose connect with Ryan Williams. My biggest takeaway from that is Ryan Williams will be, if he stays at Alabama for 2 more years, obviously for his eligibility, he will go down as the greatest wide receiver in Alabama history. And this is the same historic history of a Davante Smith, Julio Jones, Jerry Jeudy, all these legendary wide receivers at Alabama. I mean, this kid is 17 years old. He won't be 18 until February 2025. Could you this dude should be a senior in high school, and he is dominating in college football in the SEC. He had 177 yards last week and then 1 touchdown. He went for a 75-yard touchdown. That man got in every game. Alabama's only played, I think, 5 games so far. He got 5 touchdowns, and I think it's 5 or 6 touchdowns. He got a touchdown in every game. I think he had 2 against Western Kentucky in his first start. This dude should be in high school somewhere. He should be in high school. And I'm like, he it's unreal.
Yeah.
And guess what, y'all? I'm telling y'all, man, I'm telling y'all be sleeping on them dudes that be getting their nails painted, dude. They be busting tail. Him, Jared McCain, and Caleb. Well, Caleb ain't doing as successful as he is this year, as far as but like he was at SC in Oklahoma, and he was balling. So I'm telling you, man, don't get it twisted. No, this is the new generation. Don't get it twisted.
He was so cruddy.
I'm like, yeah, y'all want to, but that boy Ryan Williams playing a man game and he a child. He can't even vote. He can't even vote in the election. He's 17. He got to get a permission slip. He probably had to go get a permission slip to go on the road.
So you think he gonna do? He got to do 2 years and
well, he got two more years. He got 2 more years of eligibility. But yeah, if he stays at Alabama for 2 years, he's gonna go down as the greatest wide receiver, and he will. I mean, I think when you look at Davante Smith, obviously being a Heisman Trophy winner, he is the bar as far as to me as the best wide receiver at Alabama. But I think Ryan Williams, and trust me, yeah, he one of them new cats. He paints his nails. He do TikToks with the Alabama hockey team. But guess what? He's 17.
He's 17. He got an excuse. He got an excuse.
He's a child, and he's a child playing a man's game.
We've been there before. We had one of those on our team when we was on the road. You know what I'm talking about.
Ooh, that was 17. Oh, this is ball.
No, that wasn't 17. But I'm just saying he was in that lane of painting his nails, stuff like that. And I ain't talking about. I ain't talking about. I'm talking about rapper. I'm talking about the rapper. I ain't talking about the other one.
I know, but yeah. But that's what they do
energy high. Energy high. Listen to certain type of rappers because those rappers do it. You know what I mean? So
Ryan Williams, man, yeah, for sure. And to tease it, I did. So my biggest takeaway is it come from the NFL. Jay Daniels, he's figured it out. And it's really similar to CJ Stroud because CJ Stroud said, "Hey, I started figuring it out in game 3." And where did it kind of come into prominence? That Monday Night Football game last Monday, and then obviously translating to on Sunday. I think he's figured it out. I think and I knew it was going to be some time for him to kind of get his footing in the league and what have you, but he's got it. He's got it already, and I think people kind of start realizing. And this is another thing with what the success of Washington thus far is what you're supposed to do. Like what they did in Washington is what we've always said what you need to do as far as running teams. And we always say I don't understand why these teams deviate from essentially reinventing the wheel. The wheel is there. Just build the wheel like it's supposed to be built. You build with the general manager. You build with the head coach. The head coach, they're lock and step. They get the staff. You get a rookie quarterback. You get a guy. You get a running back in the Austin Eckler to help with the Brian Robinson. So you surround those guys with a good running game. You surround them with a fairly decent offensive line. You draft a quarterback that's had 50 plus starts. He has 54 starts. So he's seen it all. And I know people was clowning. Oh yeah, he played with Brandon Ayuk before COVID. And but that's how guys used to get drafted back in the day when and I never understood how these guys like Anthony Richardson. I like Anthony Richardson, but Anthony Richardson only started 17 or 15, I think 15 or 17 games before he got drafted by the Colts. And you see some of these guys that weren't successful and it has less starts. And you got a guy that has 54 starts under his belt playing in college football. So and I think he's got it. And I definitely I go back to Kenji comment real good as far as his thoughts on Jaden Daniels. But yeah.
Well, I told you. I told you,
Right.
and I know, and I know you guys. I'm looking from the outside, and
Yeah.
I like us living here. Some of the best energy I remember around here is when y'all won the division, when RG3 was there. Y'all was so,
Mhm.
it feels good to see, your team winning, because it makes watching the game even better. It sucks, but then it's one thing that your team is not doing well because you're just not doing well. It sucks that y'all weren't doing well because there was all this controversy that was going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now to see team has been, the name is a certain way. The team has got new owners and they're trying to bring that culture back. And y'all went and got this quarterback. No, y'all went and got this quarterback, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, he got swag. Like he ain't a ground and pound like RG3, but there's something in there that I can, kind of compare. He got that feeling, but he's smoother with it. He even looks a little bit smarter. You know what I mean? And then and I saw the confidence, and then it seemed like y'all, it's some type of chemistry going on with your team where everybody's talking to
Yeah.
one another. Looks like they're trusting one another. You know what I mean? It kind of reminded me when Heineke was playing and you had those guys on that team and they liked Heineke because Heineke was bringing some type of energy with them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I saw that. I said, oh yeah, y'all gonna be okay. Because there's
Yeah. He
some
figured it
quarterbacks,
out.
man, you could tell they just all over the place and the media is knocking them down and they just don't have control of the game. To me, a quarterback should always have control of the game.
And it comes like and that's why I don't understand why in like NFL general managers don't look at guys who had those many starts under their belt, and
Mm-hmm.
then coupled with a guy like a Cliff Kingsbury, which that's one of the biggest keys to him. And like you said, as far as them knowing like how they like can talk and communicate, because you got a guy like a Cliff Kingsbury that is willing to have input from his quarterback and to say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, what you like on this one, what you like on this, this and the third. So he's kind of giving him some what I call like full autonomy, not meaning like, hey, he can just call an audible and do whatever, but more so of, hey, what do you like on this one? What do you like on that? So it gives him somewhat of a control. And I think Cliff Kingsbury is definitely was such a welcome asset, because I know a lot of people, and I know I didn't like him getting hired by the Arizona Cardinals. I thought that was a dumb move for them to hire him,
Right.
obviously, because I always looked at it because he just got fired from Texas A&M. I'm like, if you get fired from your alumni, like I used to say, like, you get fired from your alumni, you suck. But he's a better offensive coordinator, I think, in my
Right.
perspective, because now he can kind of focus on the offense and he can just do that versus he can do more of a micromanagement than macro. And in this
Right.
case, where he can just simply focus on one unit and get them all together. But yeah, he's figured it out, and I'm so glad he threw an interception. I was like, last week, get that out the way, because I know how people gonna have the expectation. Because Lord knows if he would have went 3 or 4 weeks without an interception and he throws an interception in November, they're like, "Oh, he sucked." Like, no,
Right.
let it like
Yeah.
it's almost like when a baby fall, everybody be like, "Oh, no, laugh." The baby fall, laugh, so he can be like, because if you say, he gonna cry. The baby, he or she,
Right.
whoever the baby gonna cry. Let me not make
Right.
that. Let me not gender the baby, but
Right.
but
But they didn't do that to the quarterback of the Packers last year when he kind of like stunk it up in the playoffs at the end of the game because he was a success story. Nobody think the Packers was going to get there last year like that. So why would
yeah,
you do the same thing with the Commanders? Like, man, y'all got a good chance of winning y'all division.
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you.
Welcome to the. Well,
What'd you say? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I say, I get that. Well, go to one of those Commander group chats, the Commander Facebook groups,
Right.
and you will hear it all. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm glad, like, him to take the lumps now, because everybody has such this heightened expectation of,
Right.
yes, it's going great. But there are going to be some times that he's going to face adversity, and that is
Yeah.
totally
Right.
fine. He is a rookie. Do not
Right.
have this expectation to think that, oh yeah, it like, you're right, and that's just, it's week by week.
Right.
It's like dating. I'm not thinking about 20 years from now. Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
No. Let's think about this weekend. Let's think about this particular game. Let's just focus on Cleveland. Let's not
Who
worry about, let's
who did y'all
not worry about
who did y'all just beat?
the Cardinals.
Right. And how bad y'all beat them?
41-14.
That's what I thought.
I think that's our yeah, I think they said I think we have yeah, it's been years since we put up 40 plus points. I think it's probably like 2020.
And this is why it's kind of time. Like, okay, what was the old Miami coach? He's the defensive coordinator for the Vikings now. What's his name?
Brian Flores.
All right, Brian Flores. Brian Flores did not want to draft Tua, right? So because he came up under Belichick, he spoke to Tua a specific way, and you cannot talk to these young men this way anymore. You can't. You have to talk to them with a respectable manner because they are an adult just like you are.
Yeah.
You have to be understanding. And you know what's funny? Somebody brung up the Tua situation because Tua said something, and Brian answered it in the perfect way because he was a first-time head coach. He thought you needed to speak this way. But then what happened is he went up there and went with Tomlin, and Tomlin showed you, no, this is how you got to treat these young men. You know what I mean? You got to understand how much pressure they had to grow up with because everybody's looking at them at a meal ticket. Everybody's this, and that. You don't understand the anxiety and the things that they have to deal with, blah, blah, blah. So if you speak at them in a respectful, they're going to play for you. They're going to give what they offer you. It's them days of getting in my face and cussing out and acting like blah, blah. Them days are over with. Punching a wall. No. If you sit there and you have conversation with them and this, and that. Matter of fact, that movie that came out with the young man was homeless, was supposed to be the dude used to play for the Ravens. Oh man,
about the Blind Side?
Blindside. If you pay attention, listen, the dude was rude to him. But then when he saw that he was sticking up for him, the coach was rude to him, calling him dumb and this, and that. But then the lady said, hey, he's a protector. So once he saw that the coach was sticking up for him, then that's when he started playing. Okay, cool, because he got my back. That's what it's all about, man. Like you like what my man from the Broncos did to Russ last year. You can't do that. You can't do that no more, man. You can't do that no more because you think you heard him, you'll lose the locker room doing stuff like that.
Right. And that's why, like, I always refer to those Bill Belichick disciples as Little Bill because all of them think because they seen that with Tom, but remember Tom ain't Tua, and this is where like the coaching mentality it gets to him because it gets to a point where you see it being done in New England, you're gonna replicate it. That's why you see most of those guys who were Bill Belichick disciples don't make it because they think that they see the Patriot way. They think that's going to work in all other 31 teams in the National Football League, and it's not. Because in my personal opinion, if it was me, I would go to Nick Saban and be like, how do you coach him? Because I know because a lot of people think, oh, well, Nick Saban is a hard coach, this, that, and the third. But I guarantee you, he ain't talking to her like that. I guarantee you that. So it's just like, that's where it's like, I guarantee you, he could have literally just had a conversation with Nick Saban and asked how'd you coach Tua, but no, he had that Bill Belichick because he rode Tom, but Tom is different. Tom is he's Psycho T. He's a sociopath, so it works for him. It works for him because Tom Brady is always have been I'm telling you, he
always
has
been the underdog.
He's been the Cinderella.
Right.
He was, obviously at Michigan with the whole Drew Henson, Brian Griese situation. So guess what? And for some bizarre reason, he kissed the pumpkin at midnight, and now he became Cinderella because he was the ugly stepchild, little orphan Annie. So he didn't care. Like, so it's like, yeah, you can talk to me all you want to. I'm from San Mateo, California, and I'm an underdog. So you can talk to me any kind of way because you're gonna fuel me. Because if you say I suck, I'm gonna take it up to the next level.
I'm gonna prove you wrong.
I'm gonna prove you wrong. So of course, because he came.
He was a 6th round draft pick. He was a
6th round,
6th round.
199th pick in the 2000
And
NFL draft.
Mendenhall said, he said Antonio Brown and Tom Brady got the same mentality because they felt like they should have been drafted higher. So they always feel like everybody's against them and they got to work extra hard.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yep.
thing of it is, Tua is a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just seen it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I just seen it. I'm watching Shador with his offensive coordinator. And I'm just seeing this older guy sit down with this young man and trusting what he see and everything. They sitting on the bench together and he's asking him, why did you throw the blah, blah, blah. And then Shador is breaking it down. That's just showing you that he tapped in. And I'm like, damn, they got a bomb ass relationship. Look at that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell, and it comes with trust. And so I see the same thing in that quarterback. I'm like, there's some chemistry going on. There's some trust going on. And they ready to have some fun.
Yeah. Extremely. So I know I know we talked about our 2 takeaways from the weekend, this previous weekend. So now we're gonna go a little forward. What is the game to watch this weekend? What you got?
I got the Ravens. Damn, I got the Ravens versus the Bengals. I got 3. I got Ravens versus the Bengals. I got the Pats versus the Dolphins. With the Dolphins not doing too well, I want to see if with that quarterback they got, he'd get another week to see if they can build something against the Pats. And the Pats has been doing pretty well. They're actually battling. And the Bills versus the Texans.
Yeah,
I think the Bills need to win this game, to be honest with you, especially how they looked against the Ravens. I think they need to beat the Texans.
Yeah, especially and obviously kind of stop Stephon Diggs as much as they can, and
right.
That's concerned. Yeah. Actually, Matt's gonna be in the college game. It's gonna be really interesting. I got Missouri versus Texas A&M. That's gonna be a early matchup. So they said Missouri doesn't have to worry about like kind of the Cal feel effect at night. So it'll be a daylight situation for them. Obviously, Missouri, they have the 54% third down efficiency. I think that's going to be key for them in this game. Obviously, they have Brady Cook, and then you look at Missouri. They're 7-11 versus ranked teams dating back to 2020. So it's going to be interesting what they do. Obviously, Texas A&M. Obviously, with their quarterback Marcel Reed, both teams defensively are pretty stout. They both are, as far as points allowed, they're both in top 50 in that category. Liking what Elko is doing with Texas A&M. Obviously, they had that loss to Notre Dame in the beginning of the season. Now they starting to kind of pick up where they are. They now back in the top 25. So, and obviously, this is going to be a statement win. I mean, and it's weird, like how the SEC in a strange way is how everything kind of playing out because Mississippi, Ole Miss was I think 6th in the country. Then they end up losing Kentucky, and it's starting now. The dominoes are starting to kind of form in the SEC, and I think that's kind of the beauty of how the SEC and just how good of a brand of football that the SEC has. And then I mean, we got so many matchups tonight. Like next week, we got Texas, Oklahoma, and it's just like it has that feel of like blocks of being just like being chessboards and moving off the chessboard and all that. So it's gonna be really interesting as we coming down the stretch in October and November. This how this SEC is gonna look. I mean, it's gonna be crazy, and it's gonna and it's I just can't wait for. All this play out the SEC championship game, and then how many SEC teams going to make it into the college football playoff? It's gonna be so much fun. But yeah, I think this is another one. This is kind of a appetizer to I think the big game next week. So in the SEC, and that's the thing about the SEC. SEC will always deliver. Like I don't care any year they're always gonna deliver something, and it's gonna always be interesting. But that's gonna be my game to watch. Even because I'll probably be watching on a computer screen, multitasking. But we'll that.
Right.
Yeah. So we got to get into our picks. I think we have 7 on the docket today, and we'll talk about those. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't pick the last time because we was kind of tied.
Yeah, because I know we had the 2 weeks. I can't even find that paper from that week we did. But we just restarted.
Right.
So we got a Thursday night game. We got a game tomorrow night. We got the Bucks and the Falcons. What you got?
Man, with that win against the Eagles, I have a newfound respect for the Bucks. I'm going Bucks. I feel like Baker's going to be disciplined, and he got a good organization and coaching staff behind him.
I don't know. I got an interesting one. I think the Falcons ride that momentum of last week. So I definitely think the Falcons gonna win. Shout out to Taylor Rooks. We'll see about 7:30 tomorrow night. So we'll see her tomorrow about 7:30. So make sure you're on your Amazon Prime. About 7:25, so get yourself ready. I mean, hey, if that's your cup of tea, get ready at 7:25.
Right.
But anyway, I know that's my tea. But anyway, went to Missouri, number 9, Missouri versus Texas A&M. What you got?
I'm going Missouri.
Mizzou, okay.
Mizzou.
Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M is going to win this game. I got a strange feeling. I'm starting to like kind of what, even though I know they 2-0 on the SEC, they beat Florida and Arkansas, which, I mean, yeah, but I definitely think this could be kind of one of those things. We got Syracuse Orange going to Las Vegas, where your boy Davante Adams may have played his last game at, versus UNLV, number 25th ranked UNLV.
I got Syracuse.
Oh, I got Syracuse as well. Yeah. I like UNLV. I mean, they blew up Fresno State last week, but I got the Qs winning a road trip like no other from Western New York to Las Vegas. But I got the Orange as well. I got the fighting Carmelo Anthony's. We got
the dominant Donovan McNabbs.
Yeah. Shot to Marvin Harrison. Yeah. Senior. We got number 8 Miami go all the way to Cal Berkeley there. What you got?
I'm going Miami. They look pretty good, man. I'm going Miami.
I mean, a part of me want to go for Cal. Obviously, the new members of the Atlantic Coast Conference, which is weird. That's what I'm saying. That's the most weirdest. I never thought, and we've been doing this show for 10 years. I never would have. Somebody would have told me Cal Berkeley is in the Atlantic Coast Conference. I'm like, what drug are you on? What drug are you on? But I got Miami. Give me the fighting. What's the Miami? Who's a famous alum? The Rock, the famous Dwayne Johnson. The fighting Dwayne Johnson. I'm thinking like so many people.
So many people there.
Alex Rodriguez. Who else?
The incredible Michael Irvins.
Michael Irvin. When they're on the field, I'm like
the ridiculous Ray Lewis's.
Ray Lewis. Yeah, shout out to Ray Lewis.
They're a killer.
Right, shout out to Ray Lewis. Who else? Who's the famous Miami alum?
The scary. Damn, I thought I had it. What's his name? He played the coach for the Buffaloes. Damn.
Oh, Warren Sapp. Big Sapp.
Warren Sapp.
Yeah, Big Sapp. All right. And if you can't get enough of some ACC after dark, because we got a Miami versus Cal at 10 o'clock start, I think, on Saturday night. If you want some seductive ACC after dark action, wait till you see the morning. Wait till the morning after. You got the Jets versus the Vikings at 9:30 a.m. Set your clock. The boys on the other side of the river.
I know.
Other side of the ocean.
As bougie as Aaron Rodgers is, I know my pick right. The Vikings to win.
Yeah. Give me the Duke of Lake Minnetonka, aka the MVP, Sam Darnold, baby.
That's crazy, ain't it?
Wow.
That's crazy. Again,
welcome to 2024.
Our relationship with him. They got a relationship with him. You know what I mean? And that's the same with Kirk Cousins. He's a perfect example too. But yeah, definitely got the Vikings. That's crazy.
Yeah. So obviously we have a quadruple header. You got a 9:30 game. You got the 1 o'clock games, the 4 o'clock games, and then at the nightcap, we got a legendary matchup on Sunday Night Football. 2 NFL blue bloods. We got the Cowboys versus the Steelers. We already know. Do we even have to say who we gonna go for? Because I mean, we already know it's gonna be the black and gold.
Right.
Ain't nobody going for Dallas.
You know, I left a certain situation so I could watch the game with my dad. Right. Mm-hmm. And as I watched the end of that game, we supposed to win that game, man. The Steelers were supposed to win that game, but you just because I feel like a lot of their mistakes was arrogance, like the fumble of 14 fumbling. Like, man, catch the ball, get down. You ain't always got to swag out, B. Just catch the ball and get down. Like Fields looking around, like he's again when we was making a comeback, he was controlling the game. And like even that, like it was weird. Like they wasn't running out of bounds, and he running in the middle. I'm like, yo, the time it's but I just think. What do you say?
Yeah, because black and yellow. Yeah, we all rooting for
the
Steelers.
Yeah, but we definitely rooting for the Steelers. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody is, but I knocked on him. I was pissed because I felt like we should have won that game, but. Me being a Steeler, the Steelers are a roller coaster ride, man. They never like one of those dominant type of teams that like they should be. They'll be up here, then they'll do something. I'm like, man, what is that? So I'm hoping that he learned from it and he just get ready for against the Cowboys. You know what I mean? Because he can't be making I felt like I was watching Chicago. Like it was just certain little mistakes. I'm like, why aren't they running out of bounds? Why are they running in? You know what I mean? It was just little things. It was just weird. Like, come on, y'all. We trying to. Anyway, let me stop.
but definitely, it's gonna be we talk about NFL blue bloods. And shout out to Maria Taylor. You know, should be
yes
thing on Sunday Night Football. And
best thing in FSF1. Yeah. Best thing on FSS1. Yeah, FSS.
So we got this. We then round out Monday Night Football. We don't have a doubleheader this week. Thank goodness. But anyway, I digress. You know, no Will Levis at the dog action this week. So we got the Saints versus the Chiefs. Who you got? The wounded Chiefs. I put it that way.
The Chiefs. They always figure out a way to win. They're supposed to lose against the Chargers, man. They're going to figure out a way.
No Rashee Rice.
They're going to figure it out, B.
It's going to be weird. I mean, you know what? I'm going to take
as long as that defense keep getting in Carr's face. Yep.
All I'm going to say is, it's a Monday night. It's October the 7th. So it's indicative. I'll put it this way. I'll take a used car and I would drive a used car to Arrowhead. Give me the Saints. I think the Saints gonna win. This gotta end. I think this gotta end with the Chiefs as far as this 4-0 and just ride on this Magic Cup ride. Because it's just like everything is happening to them, and now it's just like it's almost like they're adversity proof. They go through adversity, but it's like it doesn't seem like it doesn't affect them on the field. You know, like okay, you lose like Rasheed, like the Chargers had them dead to rights on Sunday. Then what up happened? Mr. Fizer comes up big. So definitely a big shout out to. I sound like Aaron Rodgers. Sound like Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, but anyway, I'll ride a used car to Arrowhead, and I trust the used car to take me to Arrowhead. That is Derek Carr. I wish I had a used guy.
Did you watch the Charger game?
A little bit. Obviously, I was preoccupied.
Right.
But I mean,
look,
I've seen it.
They were supposed to win that game. I thought they were. I just thought the Chiefs was just putting, they was competing, and they won that game, man. Like, I'm sitting here like, wow.
That was the Chargers game to win. And
them Chiefs was just dropping the ball and then interception. I watched this interception that Patrick Mahomes threw. I was like, oh wow. Like, he ain't even have no on it. But the thing of it was that defensive line start pushing, they start rushing, and you got and Hubert is still hurt. You know what I mean? There's a lot of those little things, and I'm like, okay, so we'll see.
Yeah, and they're just strange. I'm like, yo, I don't get it. Like, that's the thing with the Chiefs. Like, it's just the weirdest thing. Could you imagine you had a quarterback that threw 5 interceptions? Just imagine if most teams had a guy who threw 5 interceptions. They would not be 4-0. Like, that's the crazy thing about it. Like, that's why it's just so like the thing with Kansas City is just it's mind-boggling at best. Every time we and I can literally do I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to find me in as far as like the Chiefs social media department, and I always talk about keys of what not to do with Kansas City as far as don't turn the football over, don't do this at third, blah blah blah. Like, everything that they do that we say will make them lose a game, they thrive on it. Like, if you really would think to yourself, Patrick Mahomes threw 5 interceptions already, and you think to yourself, okay, but it's still undefeated. Like, but most, it's just crazy how he can overcome stuff like that. So it's just kind of bizarre. Like, as far, and I think even going back to the beginning of this so-called dynasty, and it's like Patrick Mahomes can't be reckless with the football. This fool can throw 3 interceptions in the game and they still win. Like, what I'm saying? Right. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm always at a loss of words. Like, when it comes to Kansas City, so I was like,
they play poker, man.
Yeah, it's no analysis is needed.
It's almost like they play, like I said, they play poker, and they get the other team to buy in. So it's like they saying, like, I seen that with the Buffaloes, like he was like, man, y'all know the game plan. Don't kick it here. We need for you to do this because we need to get, kick it. I need more air. So it's like they have a game plan. Not saying that they're doing it on purpose, but they just know how to adjust to specific things. And it's just all of them. That's why they Super Bowl team all around. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, you already know you got to watch Patrick because he throwing behind the back passes and he throwing it this way. But people don't understand. Look. He is a better Russell Wilson, you know what I'm saying, where he really going to use his feet. He wants to run, you know what I mean? And then he'll run. They won't really hit him. Like, he'll tiptoe, and next thing you know, when he tiptoed, he done ran like 7. At this, he already ran 8. But now he done tiptoed, and now he done ran another 7 yards. You're like, what the hell? Hit him. You know what I mean? But that's why I picked him, man. Like, I think this, I don't know. Like, I think this is one of those games. But that's what I told your homie, though, when we was on there having a conversation. I said, it's something about the Kansas City Chiefs that they're not being promoted or marketed to a team that's the Super Bowl team. Like, I don't see people going, like, when the Patriot was, when the Pats was winning, or the Cowboys or the Steelers, all these teams, when they win multiple championships, you'll start seeing in any sport, you'll start seeing people wearing their hats and clothes and all that type of stuff. And they might not even be a fan of the team, but you just start seeing it more. You don't
Yeah.
see it much. You don't see it much. I see Patrick Mahomes on a few commercials, but you would think he would be on way more. He'd be on way more. I see Kelsey, you know what I'm saying? I see him more, but
Yeah.
they don't get for them to be where they're at, they don't get the pub like they should. Like, truth be told, I think they talk about the 49ers more than they talked about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. It is like as far as from the Chiefs perspective. I mean, like you said, you probably don't see nobody like people like in pop culture wearing like Chiefs stuff. They said third. I mean, it's just I don't know. And I know some people. I know most of us are sick and tired of the Chiefs. I know I'm sick and tired of the Chiefs.
That's what I'm saying. So like you're sick and tired, right? Everybody was the same way about the Pats, but you still would see like a few people that was just love them, or females just like them because the way they play and Tom Brady and this and that. Man, I don't see hardly none of that. None of them is like sitting here like, oh, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Oh.
There's a reason why I think people don't like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, come on now.
What?
Like,
come on. Like, tell me. I want to know.
mean, first that he's obviously you think of just like his family. Obviously, people were annoyed by Jackson Mahomes, and then you look at like Brittany Mahomes and how some of her antics in the past have rubbed people the wrong way. Like you're pouring champagne in 36-degree weather, and I'm like, nobody signed up for that. We trying to stay warm. We're not trying to get wet. So I'm just like, I'm being real. Like, no, we just not.
You're right. And don't get me wrong. You is right. I hear more of that than anything. I'm so tired of the Chiefs. I'm so this. I'm so that. And it's like,
yep. And then her, I know we don't talk about this type of stuff, but her political affiliation doesn't help. And then this whole thing with Travis Kelce, people are tired about this whole Taylor Swift thing, and I get it. Like, I'm at a point where I just, they did a good job as far as not broadcasting like they have done in the past. Like when Isaiah Pacheco scored against the Jets last year on Sunday Night Football. Why in the hell are you showing Taylor Swift? Like, but that's what I'm saying. People get, and I get that. I get why people get like, because they like these stupid storylines, and it's like it's almost like kind of like a rock star type of situation. I think atmosphere, because you have the Taylor Swift angle, and I know a lot of people. I'm glad it's not as profound as it was in the previous years, but I know even in the offseason it was kind of annoying. And like you said, and to Kenji's point, it's cross marketing, which it's cross marketing, but it's almost like going in one direction. So it's
so
yeah, and plus Patrick Mahomes. I think people, because now if he was like a single guy, and if he was, because I know women love Jalen Hurts, but then I think once he got engaged, people never talk about him as far as, I think if he was a single guy, I think the woman people would gravitate to him a little bit more. I think people do like the family aspect of it too, that he is marketable. But I mean,
I feel like when they had Tyreek Hill, they was on that superstar type of feel, like people, you know what I'm saying? And once he left, it's something missing. Like, you know what I mean? It just don't have, like I said, it's the same thing when we asked the question. I've been asking the question, do you think Lamar Jackson is better than Michael Vick? And a lot of people, it makes them think, and you would be like, why are you thinking? He's done been to the playoffs, and he's a 2-time MVP. You should automatically, but people still like, man, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it's because it's that thing that AI had, Michael Vick had, Lawrence Taylor had, like them. It's just something that they had that just stood out that you can't really
Yeah.
Can't really explain.
Well, yeah, and if Lamar stays healthy, I don't even necessarily say. I mean, not saying he's gonna like not miss any games. He's not gonna be like Cal Ripken Jr. quote unquote. Obviously, kind of tied in the Baltimore reference as far as being an Iron Man in a sense. But I mean, he's gonna surpass him. I mean, he's gonna surpass him in pretty much every
Right.
statistical category. And I understand. I think sometimes it's a feel, and I obviously, especially how he. I think people would look at Michael Vick more like you talked about, like the culture aspect, like how, like Al
The
Iverson,
coach.
it's tons of players that are better statistically than Al Iverson, but the
Right.
impact he has had on the quote unquote culture far
So
sees
that's it.
the athletic,
Right.
it's athletic accolades. I put it that way.
So that is you said it right, and that's what it is. It's just something like even though, like the Pats, it was a culture there, and something about Candy. But maybe we're not seeing it because maybe it's if you just really start looking at these quarterbacks that's coming in, I guess you could say that's what was Patrick Mahomes influenced them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
because
don't know. It's just,
yeah,
but it's something there.
well, Dylan Raiola, he definitely he's impacted by Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback in Nebraska. Dude, gosh, dude,
Just
it's
like him, G.
literally he's just like him, and it's crazy. He do the pregame stretch like him. He jump like
Yeah,
Patrick
yeah.
Mahomes. He
Hairstyle, number, throw, run
he
like him.
he even walk like him. He got a little
Right,
switch like Patrick Mahomes. Pause,
right,
but
right.
I mean I mean we
If I
know
was Patrick Mahomes, I'll
we know
sue.
we know he walk with he walk with a walk.
If I was Patrick Mahomes, I would sue. Man, if you don't stop trying to swim my stride,
Well,
you know.
he called him little cousin. He said that's my little cousin. So he embraced it.
I bet he do.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, trust me. Like, dude, but bro, and he be like that's right because they got the same throwing coach. I mean, they literally got the same thing. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised his girlfriend looked like Brittany Mahomes if he has a girlfriend. Because that's what they said. Like, I don't know if you remember when Shannon Sharp and Sterling was saying how both their girlfriends look the same. Remember when they were saying something like that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was like, that's watch. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. A little girl from Lincoln, Nebraska, look like Brittany Mahomes on Dylan Raiola's.
I wouldn't put it past either.
I wouldn't either. I bet my bottom dollar.
I know one thing. That damn Travis Hunter is my hero. I was like, Lord.
I'm yeah. Hey. Well, I just put this way to be a young man again. But hey, I'm an older, wiser man, so thank God I didn't have that type of influence in my life. I don't even know if I'd be here pursuing my dreams, or I'll be working somewhere working and burning the midnight oil to provide. But,
yeah, you be on one of you be striking with some dudes on the board.
Right. Baby need more shoes. So, Kenji, so he asked, "What do y'all think about the Michael Vick documentary on Amazon Prime?"
I haven't seen it yet.
Other Black Quarter. I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list. I'm telling you, I've been so busy. Like, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to put on my calendar for some point next week, maybe as early as Tuesday.
I'll probably watch it tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll start watching tomorrow.
Yeah. So I know it's a 3-part series, so I haven't looked at it quite yet. I'm probably gonna try to look at it because I forgot Sunday we got football from the AM to the PM. So
gonna keep getting that way too.
Yeah, but yep, it is what it is.
Right.
So, let's see. So we'll round out the show tonight with our game ball. Who gives whose game ball for you?
Man, I'm giving the game ball to the Colorado Buffalo. Man, like I said, this was probably the most humble I've seen them, and I think that's what I think that's something that some people don't know that's Deion. Like Deion would be flashy, he would be this, but he had extreme focus when it was time to play. You know what I mean? And I think those guys, man. I just was watching. It was just so much focus, man. It was just so humble. It was just a beautiful thing to see the pass rush, to see the O line protect, to see them running the ball well and making big plays and just controlling the game. You know what I mean? Even you know what I'm saying. So I'm just giving it to them. Big win for them. It makes this next game so interesting. You know what I mean?
Oh
Against
yeah,
Kansas State.
that's gonna be an interesting game for sure. So, my game boys gotta go to the Delta Center. Obviously, we know Delta Center, the home of the Utah Jazz and the Utah Hockey Club, formerly of the Arizona Coyotes. Obviously, that's where my goat hit that shot to win that championship over Brian Russell. So shout out to my forever GOAT, MJ, for that 6th championship. So Delta Center, let's stay focused. So they had a list of their concession stand prices for the Utah Jazz games and the Utah Hockey Club team. So for $2, you could get a bottled water for $2. So for $3, you can get, it is $3 a piece, not $3 for all of this. So for $3, you can get popcorn, $3 nachos, $3 hot dogs, and $3 ice cream. And we know here on Couch Coach Live, we are the everyday's man. And any way that we can save any kind of money or any type of concessions of this type of situation should be celebrated. So we definitely got to give a huge shout out to the Delta Center. They get my game ball this week for having economically priced concessions for the working man like you and I. Who wouldn't want to go to a basketball or a hockey game and could get a hot dog for $3, or I could get me a nachos for $3? Because trust me, you're not getting that nowhere else but did that or Atlanta or Atlanta. You're not getting no $3 nachos at Northwest Field.
It's
You're
the
not.
simple fact that you said, let's stay focused. Did with here.
Yeah, because I could have gave you a history lesson. I could have gave you a history lesson on what happened in June of 1998. But, you know, we digress. We
right.
2024, so we must stay focused.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, right, because you literally can have. I mean, you think about it, you can literally have a meal even if you got all.
You know what? I ain't even mad at you. You right, because the more I think about it, you go to Wendy's. That's combo is almost $10. You go to Five Guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can go on and on and on. Like somebody said, Arby's. Dude said him and his wife both got a combo meal. It was $40.
Arby's expensive. Arby's was expensive before inflation. Like Arby's been expensive.
It's just crazy, man. Like
yeah. So and you can literally get all this. So you got popcorn, nachos, hot dogs, ice cream, and the Sonic for $14. And you know, and if you that's economically priced, especially if you got insurance. Because if you I'm telling you, you go to Northwest Stadium and try to get some popcorn, nachos, hot dog, ice cream, and a water, it's damn sure they're gonna be $14. It's probably gonna be north of $60 or $50 something.
Right.
Northwest. Northwest.
I'm laughing, but it's really not a funny matter. You right. You right, B.
Yeah, man.
I had got 2 things. I got a sandwich and some mozzarella sticks, right? And that was $22. Yeah. And I just was thinking to myself, like, why is this $22? Like, this don't even make sense. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Man, last time I went to a sporting event and had to buy food was at Audi Field in DC. I bought chicken tenders and French fries. That thing cost $15. I was like, take this back. No, but I ended up paying. I mean, put it all seriously. I was like $15 for a basic meal. Like this is
I went in Wawa and I'm looking at all the mint and gum and stuff like that. It's like $2.19, $3. I'm saying that this stuff should not be more than $1.
$1. It used to be
You ought to be
$1.
ashamed. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Like it should be like some gum, Orbit gum, Orbit gum. It's the same price as getting a damn soda.
Right. And soda, I don't even want to get to talking. Like, it almost cost me $2, of almost $5 for two 20-ounce drinks. I'd be here all day talking about. I'm like, look.
And that's why I love the Dollar Tree. I be in there like.
I'm telling you, yes. I'm like, yo, I feel like a baller. I'm like when Michael Jackson was like, I want this, I want that, I want that. That's how I be at the Dollar Tree. I'm like,
me too. And everybody, they're making them. They brand new ones are opening up. They're spreading stuff out. Like I'm really not joking. Like to be at Dollar Tree and get your stuff, and you just be grabbing stuff, boom, 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 and then you're like, I don't know if I need to. You know, the best thing about it though, it's really to help you stack up. That's really what it's for you to go in there and stock up on all different type of stuff. Man, $22. I'm looking at my grocery cart like, I love this place.
Right.
Where do I invest?
That's the only place I know I can come out there with like multiple bags and be worth it. I can go to the grocery store, I'll probably spend like $80, and this is like 3 bags. I'm like,
right.
What's to eat? But yeah, man. But definitely huge shout out to the Delta Center, and you know, hey, they're looking out for the working man and his family and his family. You know,
that's great.
It's awesome. But yeah, hey, you know, Salt Lake City, hey, you know, a beautiful city as well. So yeah.
So, we drove through there.
Yeah, McDonald's. We went and got McDonald's.
Right, listening to Stephen A. on Drink Champs.
Yeah. And it's shout out to I got kids. I can't forget the kid Jay Daniels for coming in the game and breaking the records and uplifting WC culture. So, and that's gonna be another reason why the price of nachos and hot dogs is gonna be high at Northwest Stadium. So that's why I'm kind of like, Northwest Stadium, yeah. But shout out to Northwest. Not the real Northwest, but Northwest Stadium. But Northwest is hilarious though. So big shout out to her. But she's hilarious. But so we head on out. Final thoughts and social media plug. What you got?
Great show. Social media is DT Morgan 78. Instagram, Deshaun Morgan, Facebook. Man, great show. Hey man, just sending strength and prayers to everybody. You know what I mean? That's about it, man. Get ready for next week. It's about to be October, so sports is about to get great.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Great. First though, I do got something to say. Man, I was watching all these NFL teams. Like, I was like, Dad, you seeing these scores? I said, it's teams that you think is supposed to be losing is winning. It was a trip last Sunday. But anyway, great show.
Yeah, it's NFL. Yeah, NFL. That's what it's any given Sunday. I think that's what makes the NFL so great because you just the storylines write themselves.
Right.
Like whoever thought that at this point the league MVP is the Duke of the Minnetonka River that is Samuel Donald. He's on a 2017 eclipse like what he did at USC. So definitely huge shout out to Sam Donald. Who would think them Trojan quarterbacks was gonna be good in his league? You know. So this one's for Caleb Williams. The Bears. But yeah. But let me not say nothing. Now, let me not say something. He coming to the crib in 3 weeks, so now let me be quiet.
Right. I know I'm watching that one.
Yeah. But yeah, so all right now. No, Let's not do that. Let's not incite fear here on Couch Coach Live. Those are domestic imports. They make toilet tissue in Alabama. They make toilet tissue in Richmond. They make toilet tissue in Philadelphia or Baltimore. So hey.
Oh yeah, they wilding out there. I just seen something.
But yeah, I mean, hey, always buy in bulk anyway, regardless.
Right.
Buy in bulk, especially the toilet paper doesn't have no expiration date. It's not perishable. That's why I always say buy in bulk because you're gonna have to use it eventually. Hey, I don't do like you did in 2020. Leave enough for us. So when I go to the Sam's Club, save your neighbor something. Just get one pack. You get one pack if you live by yourself or you got a girlfriend or a partner. It'll last you to Christmas. It'll last you to 2025. That's all you need. Just get one pack. If you got a family of 4, maybe 2 of them, just get enough to last you for the rest of the calendar year. Save enough for your fellow man because you don't have enough toilet paper to wipe your you know what on Christmas Day.
Hey, Food Line gangster. They'll put a sign up and say, only 2. Thank you.
Awesome. Right. The Sam's Club, and I know Sam's Club ain't gonna do that, but right. Just if when it comes to the toilet paper, the paper towel, look, like I said, if you are a like me, a person that's just a party of one, a family of one, just get one pack. It'll last you until January, February. It'll last you there. If you live with a significant other and you have kids, get 2 packs. It'll still last you. And hell, even if you host Thanksgiving dinner, it'll still last. You people only going to be there for one day. So just get one pack. If you go to Sam's Club, just get the bulk size and you'll be fine. And, you know, and welcome to my emergency preparedness TED Talk. But in all seriousness, hopefully this port situation will be fine. If you get the toilet paper, just be smart. This ain't 2020. Please save enough for your fellow countrymen. That's all I ask.
Word.
You know, but you know. So, yes, once again, another great show here. Pretty much social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram under Couch Coach Live, the website couchcoachlive.com. Also, let's see, we got YouTube as well. And then obviously check out, we'll have another episode of Spider Bite as I talk about the University of Richmond football team as they weekly previews of their matchups. We'll have that probably going to do that, have that recorded tomorrow. So that'll be out tomorrow. So that'll be episode 6 as they prepare to face North Carolina A&T. So we'll dive into that tomorrow. So definitely be on the lookout for that as well. And also the website, couchcoachlive.com. That's pretty much a one-stop shop where you can check out archives of our podcast. Obviously, our news feeds on social media as well. And then also our game recaps from the various teams. Obviously, we have a Richmond Spiders tab, VCU. So it has a couple articles during the offseason, kind of get you primed and ready for the basketball season for both men's and women's. And then also we got some Commander stuff on there, which we're going to try to bulk that up a little bit as a few weeks persist. Just lots of stuff just going on in the world of sports. So we definitely got like content going on, a lot of articles there on Couch Coach Live as well. So we'll get you guys next week here on Couch Coach Live, man, and we're out.
You're welcome.
Yeah.